Today, we're talking about blue ocean strategy. Now, this is a concept that doesn't just help you compete better, it can make competition, well, totally irrelevant. So let's start with a really big question. I want you to think about this. What if, instead of constantly battling your rivals for a piece of the pie, you could just bake a whole new pie for yourself? That, right there, is the core idea behind this whole strategy.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this, you need to think about the business world as being split into two very different environments. Strategists call them the red ocean and the blue ocean.
All right, so first up is the red ocean. This is where most businesses operate. Think of it as the known market space. And it's crowded, right? You've got tons of competitors all scrapping over the same group of customers. As that fight gets more intense, the water gets bloody with cutthroat competition, and you see profits start to shrink. Now, on the other hand, you have the blue ocean. This is the complete opposite. It's an untapped, uncontested market. It's a space that a company literally creates for itself. The rules haven't even been written yet, and the water is clear and blue because, well, there's nobody else there to fight with. So you can really see the difference in mindset here. A red ocean strategy is all about competing in existing markets, beating the other guy and fighting over the demand that's already there. But a blue ocean strategy, that's about creating a whole new market, making the competition irrelevant and actually creating new demand. It's a totally different way of thinking. Okay, that's the theory. But how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at a few famous examples. Some real pioneers who found their own blue oceans. And what's interesting is that this isn't some new modern idea. It's a pattern we've seen for over 100 years. Think about Ford with the Model T, Apple with iTunes, or Netflix completely changing how we watch movies. They all created new markets. But let's rewind and look at the original game changer here. So let's go back to the early 1900s. The car industry back then was a textbook red ocean. I mean, you had something like 500 different companies, and they were all making these super expensive custom cars just for the wealthy. So what did Ford do? Instead of trying to build a slightly better expensive car, they did something radical. They created the Model T, an affordable car for the average person. They didn't just compete, you see. They created a whole new market of car buyers. And the result? Just look at this. Their market share exploded, going from just 9% to a whopping 61% in a little over 10 years. Incredible. Okay, so it sounds amazing, right? But sailing into a blue ocean isn't a guaranteed win. Remember, you're heading into uncharted territory, and that means there are some pretty big risks involved. There's a reason for that old saying, you know, if it were easy, someone would have already done it. Finding that perfect untapped market is tough, and if a company gets it wrong, if they misread the currents, well, the outcome can be a total disaster. A perfect example of this is the cautionary tale of JCPenney. So here's what happened. JCPenney tried to find its own blue ocean. Their big idea was to move away from being a discount store and become more of a collection of upscale boutiques. The problem? In doing that, they got rid of the very thing their loyal customers loved: the sales, the coupons, the thrill of finding a great deal. They totally misunderstood their own base, and the strategy just completely blew up in their face. All right, so after all that, what are the big takeaways here? What should we remember about this powerful but kind of risky strategy? Okay, first and foremost, it's about creating, not competing. That's the big mindset shift. Success really hinges on delivering a massive leap in value for your customers. So much value that a new market just opens up. And yeah, being the first one there has huge advantages. But you have to remember, this is the definition of a high-risk, high-reward strategy. And that really leaves us with one final exciting question. In a world that's changing so fast, with new tech and new ideas popping up all the time, the next massive industry-changing blue ocean is definitely out there. It's just waiting to be discovered. The only question is, who's going to be the one to find it?